morning, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 5, Episode 41. 41, that's a high number. It means we're getting near the end of the year. Hurricane Ian Prep and Mavic 3 Enterprise. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Yeah, we're going to get to Hurricane Ian. I got a lot to talk about with that coming up. Ron's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Marcus should join us here fairly shortly. Let's see who's here and make sure we get everyone greeted properly. Quadcopters in Tech, Jaybird, Mr. Stephen Ewing, Sergeant Rock, Leonard Oglesby, Quadcopters in Tech, Drone Shots, Jody, Johnny Drone Flyer. Rex is in the house. Trini Winks, welcome Trini. Akarasho 107 Drones. Mark White, Flying Flame Media, welcome John. Michael Wright is in the house. Who else we got? 107 Drones, Mark White, USA Drone Flyer, Maddie's Drone World. Welcome, Maddie. Dr. Ted is here. Jamie Miller. Captain Ray Kelly is here. Artco is here. Welcome, Art. Mr. Barry Markowitz. Welcome, Barry. Good to see you tonight. All right. Got a full house. We're going to say probably about 20 hours or so, maybe a little less, about when Ian's going to hit. So just want to keep that in perspective. And we're going to cover all that coming up here in a little bit. Actually got a few things to talk about. And I'll lead up to it. Work, okay. And I thought you'd like to know this in conjunction with hurricane prep, and I'll talk about this now. Tomorrow's a half day. Thursday we're off. Friday they're going to have us call in either at a special 800 number for home office employees, or check out on the website, and they'll let us know whether or not the offices will be open. I've yet to hear that if, there's a power outage and we can't get on here and it's not safe to drive, what's going to happen with that. So, waiting to hear on that. And my wife's off tomorrow and Thursday as well. Schools are closed here. Yeah, it's a whole different beastie here, guys. All right. Got a lot. Actually, do have a lot to talk about tonight. I did find a few things here. Drones and sporting events don't mix, okay? It's incredible. Wow. Stupidity. I don't know if that's the right word for it, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, it's somebody wanting to get themselves known, and this gentleman apparently is well known or person. Drones flying over Lumen Field in Seattle prompted delays of 2 different football games this weekend. Seattle temporarily halted games with the NFL and the NCAA over the weekend. UAVs were spotted in the fourth quarters of Saturday's University of Washington Stanford contest and Sunday's Seahawks Atlanta Falcons matchup. Both resumed several minutes after the craft violating the banned airspace around Lumen Field departed. And people wonder why we're having remote ID, okay? I think the FAA is being actually pretty lenient with us regarding this kind of stuff. But I tell you what, and I read this in several places. You want to put a stop to this, okay? You find this guy, you throw the book at him, make it very public, okay? And you won't get idiots to repeat this kind of stuff, okay? Because they do, stick them with mandatory jail time for this. I think the fine was like $37,000. I think that's way too low. It should probably be like $150,000, $200,000. Well, it's maybe an automatic year in jail time. And if you're a 107 pilot, suspension of your license, and just kind of make it very public with some of these people, because they're don't know why they're doing this, okay? but for thrill seeking or what, but it's not working here, guys. It really isn't working. Now, in conjunction with that, all right, now there was a gentleman, you probably remember this, okay? He actually shot a video, and a federal grand jury has charged 2 men for illegally flying drones over an NFL and Major League Baseball game in Cincinnati. Dalian Dabney, 24, and Travis Lenhoff, 38, 2 separate drone incidents involving the Bengals and Reds games. The Bengals hosted an NFL playoff game January 15th. Dabney allegedly flew his drone illegally into the stadium during the game, hovering over players and portions of the stadium crowd. He not only recorded his illegal drone flight, but also posted the video to social media sites and YouTube. And I know you guys probably saw that. The second incident took place April 12th, which was opening day for the Reds. Lenhoff allegedly flew a drone into the restricted area of the Great American Ballpark during opening day festivities. To make matters worse, Dabney and Lenhoff did not register their drones with the FAA. God, it's just the level of stupidity here is insane. Despite such registration being mandatory for any drone that weighs more than 0.55 pounds and less than 55, and you guys all know that, the men do not hold remote pilot certificates either. Why does any of this not surprise me? Okay, seriously here. This is just too funny. So now each defendant is charged with operating an unregistered drone, which is a federal crime punishable by up to 3 years in prison. Dabney is also charged with violating a temporary flight restriction, punishable up to 1 year in prison. U.S. Attorney Parker points out illegal drone flights over sporting events a growing problem and poses a direct risk to players and individuals in the stands, okay? And then there's FBI agent, special agent in charge, okay? Guys, I'm telling you, okay, you want this to stop, or you want to curtail it and kind of kick it to the curb, okay? The answer is real simple. What you need to do, like I said, throw the book at them. It's absolutely, positively throw the book at them. If you throw the book at them, man, you know what? Other people are going to think twice about, did you see what happened to that guy out there? I don't think I'm going to take a chance on that. Okay. Yeah. That's 107 drones. Yeah, exactly. And you're right, Dr. Ted. People are stupid. People are beyond stupid. Okay. And don't get me started, because I have a rant going, and I'm going to talk about this here in a little bit about hurricane parties. Okay. It's just, that's a rub me the wrong way kind of thing here. So yeah. This just, wow. I got no words for this kind of stuff. This is just beyond stupidity here. Okay. Now on to a more pleasant note. You guys remember last week we had the giveaway, which was great. Captain Ray won, and Casey Crime Fighter. And Captain Ray, let me know if you got your shirt yet or not. And I didn't see Casey Crime Fighter in tonight or not. Got a real nice email from Casey Crime Fighter. He actually does what his name says. He's very active and involved with that, and has helped solve some crimes. Alonzo is his real name. And Alonzo, thank you for sharing that with me. That was great. Keep up the excellent work. We need more people like you out there to go ahead and do that. God bless you. That's just absolutely wonderful. Refreshing to read that kind of stuff. You read so much of the other kind of stuff. It's so good to see that. But you guys let me know, when you have gotten those. I told you I had five auctions up on eBay. 3 of them sold. They're gone. Okay. It was wonderful to pack up. People got some great Build a Drone Reviewer swag, some accessories, brand new accessories. There was a brand new drone in one of them, Snaptane. Yeah. Okay. But still, I mean, it's wonderful. There's 2 more left, and the starting bid is only $5. It's a pretty good deal for some great swag out there. So, and some people are I mean, you can't beat the deal. It really is. But no, it went really well, and I'm real happy about that. And we're gonna do some more giveaways, and I got some stickers to mail out to you guys. And trust me, I've been a tad bit busy and coming up, and I'll show you. I think you guys know why. But No, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And, you know, great way to clear some extra space in the house. You know, bonus points with you know who. So that always helps. All right. DJI's new headquarters. Yeah, this one kind of surprised me because I thought, you know, I knew this was underway, but I was kind of surprised it took as long as it actually did here. And let's go ahead and share the article. It from what the article says, it took 6 years to build this. One's a 44-story building and the other is a 40-story building, and it looks like there's a skywalk that connects the two. Here's some more pictures of them and pictures inside. And there's the skywalk. Points out it's the first time an asymmetrical suspension steel structure has been used in high-rise towers of this scale. The innovative structure reduces the need for columns, thus creating uninterrupted workspaces that express innovation without borders in architectural terms. Tell you what, though, I wouldn't want to work in an environment like that. If everybody's sitting next to each other like that, no, thank you. I like my space at work when I'm at work, and of course at home, you know, I have all the space in the world, which is real nice. But no, that could not happen for me. But it is beautiful architecture. Look at this, and I'll take a pass. I'm not a real fan of heights, so we'll definitely take a pass on that. But it's kind of neat. The buildings are connected like that. Some great pictures. It is very beautiful. And rooftop gardens on top. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's I kind of like that. I thought that was kind of nice there. It is, Ray. It really is. It's really nice architecture. Okay. You know, that's one of the things, you know, DJI's not going anywhere, guys. Okay. You know, there was talk about them getting bought out and all this and everything, but no, they're not going anywhere. You know, and we're going to talk about this here in a minute, with what got released today. You know, there was a surprise with that. There really was. And we're going to go ahead and get to that here in a second. Mavic 3 Enterprise is released today. Okay. Fanfare. Okay. That kind of good stuff. Before we actually get to that, all right. How many of you seen my latest video on Master Shots? Okay. Now, this was after the firmware update. I got to tell you this, guys. Okay. You know, I've used Master Shots before, but I was incredibly impressed with how this came out. I mean, it was just, it just blew me away. And the ease of getting it set up. And one of the things also wanted to point out, and we'll talk about the Mavic 3 here, Enterprise here in a minute. One of the things I really liked about this was the parameters were easy to set up. There was no, you know, and also, you know, when you're focusing on your subject, you know, drawing that green box around the area that you want focused in the Master Shots. It's one thing that I've found that I think DJI's improved over the years. And I go back to the Spark, okay? You know, and that box would be like all over the place, lock on something and everything, even though your drone was still. This locked on it, and it just it focused on it the whole time. There was no deviation from it. I really, really, really liked that. I thought they did a fantastic job with that. So if you haven't had a chance to watch this video, make sure you get a chance to watch it. I was just really, really pleased. I got another one coming out this weekend. As long as I have power, okay, we won't go there right now. But no, I got another one scheduled. I should be able to get it out this weekend. Crossing fingers. So stay tuned for that. But if you haven't seen this one, watch it. It really, I can't say enough about it. And I used the waterfall on our entrance as a focal point for the master shots, and I thought it just turned out so well. I mean, I was very impressed with it. And how can you not be impressed with the Mini 3 Pro? I mean, seriously, it's just it does everything well. It really does. It's besides the Mavic 3, it's my favorite drone. It really is. It just because it does everything well, and it's so easy, and it's so much fun. All right. That was a selfless, shameless promotion of something on my channel here. All right. Well, let's go to the star of the hour here. Mavic 3 Enterprise is released, okay? And, we finally got to find out the detailed specs from this. And guys, DJI's hit another home run. And here's the one thing that jumped out right away. 56 zoom camera, okay? 56. Now, Dobo's put out a video. I haven't seen it yet, but 56x zoom camera and 45-minute flight time, okay? Yeah, that's pretty doggone good, okay? Now, they're coming, they come, it's Mavic 3E and Mavic 3T, and you can guess what the T stands for is for thermal, okay? The Mavic 3E drone integrates a 20 megapixel wide angle 4/3 CMOS sensor featuring large 3.3 pixels together with intelligent low light mode, offers significantly improved performance on dim conditions. 56x hybrid zoom provides an equivalent focal length of 162 millimeters for 12 megapixel images. Okay. Mechanical shutter. Say that again, folks. Mechanical shutter. Okay. That's why I held on as long as I could to my Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. But I'll tell you what, this is pretty significant because if you saw, and we're going to take a look, we're going to go out to DJI's website here in a second. If you saw, there's an Rtk module that you can put on top of this, so you can do the, I always mispronounce it, photogrammetry, and the mapping on it. And it said, the promo video said, 70th of a second it takes a picture. And yeah, this is the real deal here. Okay. You can complete mapping missions with high efficiency without the need for ground control points. That's what you had to have with the Phantom 4 Pro RTK. You had to have those ground control points, and they were massive things, and the box, Phantom 4 box was big enough in and of its own right, but to have those ground stations with it too, you don't need ground stations with this, guys. That's pretty amazing. Okay. That's pretty amazing. And that's the E right here. Okay. You can tell, obviously that's the T because that's the, you can take a look. Now the T has the same telecamera, a 48 megapixel camera with a 1/2-inch CMOS sensor, as well as a thermal camera with a display field of view of 61 degrees, equivalent focal length of 40 millimeters is 640 by 512. Okay. Drone's thermal camera supports point and area temperature measurement, high temperature alerts, color palettes, isotherms to help operators find hot spots and make quick decisions. It has a simultaneous split screen, which means, okay, you can get your thermal image right next to your regular image, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. Mr. Marcus Crawford, how are you, sir?
Not too bad, Bill. Not too bad. I see you're right in the middle of the new Mavic Enterprise drones.
Man, I'll tell you what, this is, the thermal in and of itself is great, but I'm really digging this Mavic 3E, the Enterprise, okay? Because you can put that module on there, it becomes an RTK, and you don't need the ground control points like you did with the Phantom 4 RTK. That's awesome.
So now, that's because of the mechanical shutter, or is it because it's more precise?
I think it's more precise because I watched the video. Ron posted the video link to it from DJI. It says it takes a picture every 1/70th of a second. Okay. So it's like all along there. So I think it's and from when I read the specs, it's extremely precise.
Yeah, and well, to me, the biggest part of the story, quite frankly, was the price. If you think about it, what's the price of the Enterprise?
Yeah, here, I'll go ahead and bring that up right now. Okay, the Enterprise, $3,810. Marcus, that's $800 more than probably what we paid for it. Okay.
Well, yeah. Plus, it comes with a case, correct? And it comes with the RC Pro.
Yeah, so it's RC Pro Enterprise. It's a little different, but yeah. And then conversely speaking, the Mavic 3T is a worry-free basic combo is $5,780. Okay.
Yeah, which for a fire department, hell, they'll buy 10 of those.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. And first thing that I saw that, and I was itchy to say something, but my head was spinning today with getting stuff done. But that's the first thing Ron said to me. He said, "What about the price?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's just. I mean, wow. I mean, talk about hitting a home run. I mean, seriously." They knocked it out of the park with a price on this, Marcus.
Yeah. The people that are doing mapping and that kind of thing, I'm sure it's just an amazing deal. Now, so I got to thinking, I thought, well, at that price, why wouldn't I buy that instead of the regular Mavic? But in talking to Ron Brown, he tells me that the camera won't shoot in the higher frame rates, nor does it have the 5.3K video, etc. It maxes out at 4K and maxes out at 30 frames per second. Right. So that's why the other Mavic is more favorable for what you and I would be using it for.
Right. And there's a different software that it uses too.
That's right. This has the Enterprise software, correct?
The Enterprise software. So it's different and it's not set up like the Fly app is. So, I mean, but for those who are going to, in the mechanical shutter, I mean, seriously, okay. And I was just saying this, all right, because I know Michael Wright, and I know Michael likes his Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, and I still like it too, Michael. Don't get me wrong, okay. But everybody was saying, and that was the last thing that people could say about it. It was the only DJI drone that had that mechanical shutter. Well, now, okay. Now we have the Mavic 3 Enterprise. Here we go. All right. Mechanical shutter. It's there. Okay. And as far as using, for mapping, this drone is going to be the bee's knees. And you also think about it too. Okay. The Phantom 4 RTK started out about $6,000 or $7,000. All right. And look where this one starts.
Yeah.
$3,800.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of, on DJI's part, it's a little bit of a thumb in the eye of some of the regulations that have been going on. I mean, they are proving that they build the best enterprise grade products, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it was, as soon as I saw what the specs are, and then the 56 hybrid zoom. Now, granted, it's a hybrid zoom, and it's not going to be as precise as we'd like it. But if you watch that promo video, it showed, like, you could see the detail of the power lines from I don't know how many meters away.
Yeah, but also search and rescue, correct? I mean,
yes,
so that you can zoom in, sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty invaluable for first responders to have that capability, okay? Because we're thinking of it, okay, and you and I and Ron would think of it in terms of like, oh, what do we think of it from a videography photography standpoint? Because that's why we're into drones, okay? And especially Ron, being the Jedi master of just about everything with photography and videography, knows this kind of stuff inside and out, backwards and forwards. But it's a different story for the Mavic 3 Enterprise. It's not a. I won't say it's not a consumer drone, but it's not a drone that consumers would prefer over the Mavic 3 in and of itself by itself, you know, because for you and I, we want that photographic and video capabilities. They're in the Mavic 3. Okay. It's just, I was saying it again today. You know, I was chatting with a few people. I'm like, you know, why would you get any other drone as a consumer right now? You know, if you could choose a drone as a consumer, and I'm not talking, not talking, Inspire, that kind of thing. Why would you choose any other drone other than a Mavic 3? I mean,
yeah, no, it's the best prosumer drone there is out there.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. And I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday on Drone Nation. So, you know, Bill, I'm flying the Mini 3 Pro quite a bit, and don't get me wrong, I love it. It's a fantastic product. And then I've been flying the Air 2S again and doing some things with it. Then I fly the Mavic 3, and then I understand the value of that Mavic 3. It's so precise. It's so quick. Two things: the ascent speed. You're trying to get someplace, it will ascend so quickly. And conversely, it will also descend. When you're trying to get down on something, that baby just drops from the sky. And and then, obviously, the camera, there's nothing like it, that Micro Four Thirds camera. And I don't care what the Autel people, and I like Autel too, but I don't care what they say about the RYYB sensor on the Nano Plus. It's not going to be better than that Micro Four Thirds sensor on the Mavic 3. It just isn't. And the video quality on that, and especially for somebody like me that doesn't do a lot of post processing, it looks so good right off the SD card. If you can't tell, guys, I'm a big fan.
Marcus, what about the soft video for the Mavic 3? You know, that doesn't have that detail.
Yeah.
All that soft video.
Yeah.
Well, hello, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Ron, we are doing fine tonight. You know, and as you alluded to in your comment, when you posted it, the price. We're talking about the Mavic 3 Enterprise and Mavic 3, thermal. The price. It's just like, wow. I mean, the real wow is for first responder organizations. Okay. Because it makes it extremely affordable to them. All right. It's
so like your local volunteer fire company will be able to get a couple of them instead of just one.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that Enterprise drone, the one with the 54 by zoom, I believe it is.
Search and rescue.
There's some police departments. Why wouldn't you put one in every patrol car?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
For that price.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, except for a lot of small towns in New Jersey that outlaw drones.
What?
But no, excellent point. I mean, I think I've heard a comment. Who did they miscomment with me on air that Autel is going real strong in the enterprise market now? They're almost concentrating more on enterprise than they are consumer. So DJI was probably wise to get ahead of that competition and get a good price point. What do you think about that, Bill? Trying to, just kind of, if they got people come at them in enterprise and make sure that they're priced correctly on this round.
Well, they're trying to stir the pot up. Okay. And I get what Autel's doing. Okay. They kept it. They actually, if you really think about it in terms of their business model and also production, they kept it simple because their core drone, it's exactly the same drone, okay? It's just using a different camera system or, some other sensors or whatever. But it's basically, it makes the process of building that drone very simplified and very easy, okay? It should keep prices down. And see, that's where the problem is with Autel, okay? Because historically, and I go back to the X-Star Premium days, okay? They've always been a little high, okay? I thought. But, people told me, especially with, when I got the X-Star Premium, people were saying, oh, the quality is there. They have great customer service, da-da-da-da-da, Well, yeah, great customer service and quality don't always necessarily go hand in hand.
2 points. Number one, I think that DJI is saying they're not going to leave any stone unturned. In other words, any niche market, their intention is to dominate it. Number one. Number two, I think their business model is much like Apple Computer with their phones and all their services and everything that they do. Yeah, Bill, you can get out your Samsung phone and there's things that it'll probably do better than this iPhone 14. But what Apple does is they make the whole thing work good, and they make an integrated system, and they don't leave one little niche, one little stone unturned. And I think that's kind of what DJI does.
You're exactly. Their business model is very similar. Apple's business model with DJI's, they're very, very similar. Okay. They really, I mean, okay. I was reading, for example, okay, and this was posted on with ham radio stuff. All right. They're talking about it's like, and I don't, for lack of a better term, it's like a new not a new GPS system, but it's with the iPhone. And, it uses satellites to help find you, like if you're off grid.
This will do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they were talking about that because, people were saying, oh, that's going to make ham radio obsolete. And I'm like, no, guys, it's not going to make ham radio obsolete.
I'll tell you what it could affect, though, Bill, is like, when there's obviously a lot of wilderness here in Idaho. So I have one of those little spot transmitters that if I'm out on ATV or motorcycle and I'm way out in the mountains someplace, if something happens, you break down or something and you need help, well, that can send a message to do it. I don't need that anymore because I've got this.
Yeah. Hey, I want to back up just a step to the price of the enterprise drone. Bill, this is going to make it not tough, but it's going to make people really scratch their head. Say people that are first responders in a state like yours, Florida, which is going all out to ban DJI enterprise products. Okay, so now this enterprise product comes out from DJI, and it's priced half the price that they're paying with somebody else's enterprise drone. So if they're on a tight budget already, they got to look over and say, oh man, this Mavic 3 Enterprise is everything we need for half the price we got to pay for the competing product, but yet, we have been regulated not to use it. And I'm not saying that's good, bad, or whatever, but when it comes to costs, it's going to roll in people's heads, Bill.
Yeah, Ron, one of the things my dad had always taught me growing up, he says, you can say what you want to about a product, but the bottom line is this, okay, how much is it? All right. And he always says, say what you want to, you can say all the fluff in the world, but how much is it? All right. You can have every bell and whistle, but bottom line, how much is it? And he always said, be wary of somebody who keeps telling you everything that you want to hear except the price. Okay. And that's kind of, I want Untitled to succeed. Don't get me wrong here, but you know what? Okay. It's always about, they have a tendency to really kind of skyrocket that price all
and
the
let's
time.
not just pick on Alltel. I mean, Parrot's big in the enterprise. Well, not big, but they're in the enterprise drone in the U.S. Scudio's in enterprise.
Scudio too, yeah.
There's several names that we know are making inroads in enterprise, but now with this price point here released today, those companies are going to have to kind of stop and think a little bit, Bill.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
Yeah, Ron, you just really made a great point there. I'm a big fan of Skydio. I'm enjoying my Skydio 2 still. But what has Skydio done for the consumer drone market, like the three of us? Really, really not much. They've added some features to that drone, which I love, like the keyframe feature and so forth. But if I'm going to go out and fly a drone, it ain't going to be that Skydio. I wish it was. But it's not. It's going to be one of these DJI drones. And the same thing with Parrot. Now, Ron, you and I were both big fans of the Parrot Anafi. Big fans of that little drone. It worked well. Well, they kind of left us by the wayside, didn't they? And they're all
went to the greener pastures of the enterprise market.
The enterprise.
Well, I hope it's working out for it. But yeah, I mean, you and I would have been the first ones in line to get a Parrot Anafi 2 with the range issue greatly improved.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, to this day, that's actually still a pretty pretty good, damn good drone, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean, again, if they would, of course, I mean, they have other upgrades, but they would wait a year, even 2 years, and came out with, again, a new version with much better range, signal strength, whatever you want to say, we'd have been in line to buy the next one.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make right here is that I appreciate DJI's approach to the market. They're, like I said, they're all in on enterprise, but they're not leaving the consumer, people like us, behind.
Right. Exactly. And you make a very good point there, Marcus, because a lot of the other companies don't have the resources to do something like that. DJI does.
They do.
Hey, Bill, you may have said it already before I got in the show, but can I say one thing? I've been asked this question a million times over my years of making YouTube videos. Mechanical shutter.
Yeah,
I say it again. This drone has a mechanical shutter. Ever since the Phantom 4 Pro was discontinued, I get a nonstop barrage of whatever drone I'm talking about. Does it have a mechanical shutter? Well, this one does.
Hey, I got a question then for both of you guys. Then my understanding is the only reason you need a mechanical shutter is for mapping. Am I correct?
I'm not even qualified to, answer that question. So I know very little about mapping and all. I know that, in typical, digital DSLR, you have usually have electronic and a mechanical shutter. And I usually always choose the electronic shutter because the refresh rate is faster to get up and running and take the next picture. I used to know the supposed benefits of the mechanical shutter, but to a hobbyist photographer, they meant little to me. So I immediately switched to digitals, but I'm not qualified to answer that question.
But that's kind of my point. Is you're talking about everybody asks for a mechanical shutter, but what I'm saying is maybe 0.5% of the people that buy that drone really need that mechanical shutter.
And those 0.5% of people, they watch every YouTube video and they go on every live stream and say that stuff. But they may be small, but they're a very vocal group. Yes.
Well, you see what Lon commented, their mechanical shutter eliminates rolling shutter.
Right.
Yeah, and Dre is saying it's for mapping, and that's what I thought. It works well for mapping, but for the rest of us, does it matter? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, the rolling shutter is more of a video thing, of course, than a photo thing. But I shouldn't say that because if they're using it for mapping, the mapping is taking a bunch of photos of whatever. So right. And of course there's stuff in software to eliminate rolling shutter. Now, of course, you probably don't want to put all your mapping jobs in Final Cut Pro and spend hours work on the rolling shutter. So yeah, I see that. But I'm not making fun. I'm just making a joke that now I don't have to be not knowing what to say when everybody says a mechanical shutter.
Where's the mechanical?
Go get a Mavic 3 Enterprise.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So I got the answer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark White said every camera has a mechanical shutter. I mean, I haven't updated in years, but all my cameras have a mechanical and an electronic shutter. Both. You have option in the software to switch to either one you want to switch to. Again, because I don't worry about rolling shutter that much in the work I do, I usually put the electronic on because it refreshes everything faster to get the next photo.
So Dre is in Recovery Drone. He knows, and he's saying it's less accurate. So that kind of answers that question of why it works better for mapping, because obviously you need that accuracy.
I'm happy. No, I mean, I'm happy they put it in there because, again, it's going to eliminate a lot of me responding to does it have a mechanical shutter. I'm glad it's in there.
Well, the one thing they mentioned in the video about the Mavic 3 Enterprise, it was for the mapping, it takes pictures every 1/70th of a second. So and
like Lon said, so you don't get that blur.
So you won't get that blur. Yeah.
Motion blur that we're always trying to get with our ND filters.
Yeah, that we put those ND filters.
Nobody can get that straight. Do you want blur? Do you not want blur? I mean, that's another question that never ceases or whatever. I mean, half the people in the world want the motion blur, and the other half the people don't want the motion blur.
And I'm too dumb to care.
Well, we're going to go over something here, and I hope to kind of give everybody kind of education, because when I moved down to Florida back in 2011, I knew about hurricanes, but I knew about hurricanes from 1,000 miles away. Now you're in Florida, okay? And I'll say this, okay, before we get started and everything, the whole reason I got my ham radio license was to be able to communicate during, if cell phones got knocked out, that type of thing. That's the reason I got my amateur radio license, okay? And I'm an amateur extra, highest level you can get. I don't have to retake the test. 2015, I need to pay another $25, and I have another 10 years of license. There's no kind of renewals. The first thing I want to show everybody is the latest here. And, there's one forecaster that I follow. See, one of the things I don't follow the Weather Channel, okay? Because you have those guys, they're standing there, bracing, rain's hitting them,
get wind blown,
wind's blowing, their hood's going on and off, their thing, it's just the theatrics. No, this guy here, he's local, and he's always been no hype, no, rah-rahs, that kind of stuff, always been straight up, okay? Now, this is the latest
shooters, we used to say, Bill.
Well, yeah. Now, this is the latest track, okay? Now, right here where my cursor is, this is Tampa. This is about where we live, is right here, okay?
Okay.
Now, it's going to be coming in. They're saying it's going to be south of us now, okay, where there's going to be direct impact, and it's going to be hitting the land as a Category 4, okay? Category 4 wind speeds are going to be close to 200 miles an hour, okay? It's going to be in the big problem, and this is one thing a lot of people don't know. Everybody says, "Oh, you need to evacuate. You need to evacuate." Okay, you know what? Those in the low-lying areas, okay, they've already issued mandatory evacuations for those people in the low-lying areas. It's the big problem is storm surge. Okay, they're saying in some areas it could be 10 to 12 feet of water coming in. All right, now and that's for the lower areas. Now where we're not in a flood zone and we're not in an evacuation zone. But what's going to be real interesting is when I get the all clear, maybe sometime on Thursday, I'm going to throw the Mavic 3 up and take a look, and see, because I can actually see pretty far down towards the coast, down towards the Gulf, and see how bad it is down there. And I also want to take a look and see how we have a major route that's like 2 miles from where we live. So I want to see how that is, just to kind of check.
Bill, don't take a mini drone up.
No. But I did get that's what I worked on today was I got now here. This is interesting here. This is the one that talks about storm surge. Okay. And the different colors indicate a different level of storm surge. And where the orange is, and the red is, that's going to be probably the 10 to 12 feet of water. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Anything along that coast right there, it's going to be completely inundated. Okay.
Now, is there any chance of that storm coming into Tampa Bay and coming all the way, getting caught in the bay and coming through?
Well, see, and that's one thing. This is a very rare type of hurricane, Ron, because, for a hurricane to come around and make that bend up into the Gulf, okay, it has to be really powerful to do that, okay? Because most hurricanes are either going to go up the Gulf and maybe hit Texas or Louisiana, or they're going to head out maybe over the southern part of the state and then hit the east coast of Florida, okay? But it's rare that we get that. Now, the last time we got hit with a hurricane was Irma. And what happened with Irma was, okay, it came, it made landfall like around Naples, which is southeast Florida. And then by the time it got up to us, it wasn't even a Cat 1 anymore, but it was a lot of rain and a lot of wind and some tornadoes that happened. But this time it's going to be a lot different. Now, this is the latest, what they have right here. It's only going at 10 miles an hour. So that's why, you see like it's close, but it's not really that close, because it's only, while these wind speeds are 125 miles an hour, it's only moving at 10 miles an hour. It's going really slow. But the thing is, it intensifies when it's out in the Gulf because it's getting fed all this warm air. And I got to pass this on too. Right now, you step outside, you might as well take a shower because the humidity is close to 100% as you could possibly get. I mean, temperature was low today. It was in the mid 70s, but the humidity, Oh, it was absolutely horrible. It was
Oh.
absolutely horrible. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys is this. I'm going to show you. Now, this was in a parking lot today by Publix.
Look at all those.
This is the milk and bread line.
Pretty much. Okay, this is just, you know, it was like complete standstill here. All right. Now here,
oh, you got the hurricane shutters up already.
They're hurricane shutters. These are corrugated metal shutters.
So, Bill, is that's something you installed yourself?
No, we hired. There's a company that was going around. You know, they charged us about $350 to do it. That includes taking them down at the appropriate time as well. Now, it almost looks like
Bill, is that all your outdoor furniture?
That's all the outdoor furniture.
Because you don't want that outdoor furniture wind up in the next zip code, huh?
Yeah, no, that's the side of the house.
Now, how those trees? Will those trees be safe out there?
That's a real good question. And you can see this. I brought this box in from the garage, and Valerie yelled at me for getting all these tarps. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I said, well, and now you can see we brought our plants in from outside.
I see the coat hanger.
Mm-hmm.
There's your exercise.
And there's all our.
Now, Bill, the most important question: will your drones be secure during this storm event?
Oh, that's coming up here. Now, this right here, these two batteries that I have right here, these are lithium phosphate batteries, okay? Right. These are batteries that I use to power my ham radios, okay?
Okay. I thought you were flying FPV when I saw those batteries, Bill.
And no. And what they have right here, that's called Anderson power poles. And most ham radios have some type of adapter to be able to plug this directly in. And these batteries run forever, okay? These lithium phosphate batteries, they just absolutely run forever. Okay, now that was from last week. But
it looks better there.
Okay. But then today, all right, going to Publix. Not only there are several things that are empty, but there was a run on Coca-Cola today.
Oh,
no Coca-Cola. I mean, it was. Oh, and the other thing, I go to the store. My mother-in-law is coming to stay with us because she lives. Their home is basically, it's a trailer set on a foundation. Okay, doesn't look like a trailer, but it is. So people who live in spaces like that are asked to evacuate. Okay. So we'll happen, Valerie's going to pick her up around noon tomorrow. Okay. So when I went shopping as soon as the store opened this morning because it wasn't really that bad. But one of the things, no Fritos. Okay. You go there. It's odd what people are hoarding. Now, one of the signs they had on the door was no more than 4 cases of water per person. All right.
Okay.
And the other thing was you can't get money. They weren't giving any cash back. Like you use your debit card to pay something, you wanted to get $20 back. They weren't doing that. They were, it was kind of along those lines. So, this is just, it's just,
So if you want to use your debit card, it better be pretty much on the nose. The thing, like if it, like if the order comes out to $30, all you can just pay 30, yeah, or debit 30, yeah.
I wanted to see if.
What about the Twinkies, Bill? Did they eat all the Twinkies?
We're charging both a Mavic 3 and a DJI Mini 3 for after the hurricane passes, when it's safe. I want to take them out so we can be able to look to see how the roads are and whether or not it's safe to travel.
There you go.
Part of getting ready for Hurricane Ian involves technology as well, and you can see here. I have 3 Anchor power banks, and then that is a rechargeable flashlight that's there. Also, we have a Midland ER300 emergency hand crank radio. You can also charge your cell phone with that. If you look on top, that does have a solar power panel on there, so that is charged by that. It does have an emergency SOS beacon that flashes. It's on the front, and it's also a radio. You're able to get NOAA weather radio alerts. Then I have my unit and scanner right here. That is going to be such a trusty tool and will come in very handy. I've got 2 batteries for it, so that should be good. Have a 30-day lantern here. Had that for several years. It runs on D batteries. And on one setting, it will run for 30 days, which is fantastic. Now, as far as ham radio is concerned, I have the IC705 right here. And the best antenna option for indoors, I have a Edfong J-pole, and it's all set to go. And then my Bioenno battery for the 705, it's all ready to go. Plus, I have the regular 705 battery. So we're covered on the technology front.
And now that you're so prepared, Bill, it'll miss you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah. That was yeah. I shot some stuff during their first game, but all in all, I think we're ready to go. You know, and what's funny is, you know, it looks like night inside the house, especially when you wake up, you know, like when we wake up in the morning. You know, there's little peepholes you can see through the corrugated metal shutters. There's little peepholes that you can see through, but I gotta say this, from a lot of people who have lived here a lot longer than I have, they're taking this pretty seriously. But one of the things that really irks me, and I've seen several people post it, they talk about hosting hurricane parties. Okay. I commented on Drone Nation. You know, there's Publix has liquor stores. A lot of them have liquor stores. Their liquor stores are more busy than the grocery stores. Okay. People were walking out of there carrying all kind of libations. All right. I'll tell you what, you know, because what if, for example, they gave you an order to evacuate and you were 3 sheets to the wind? All right. You wouldn't know which end was up. All right. Or let's say this, one of your loved ones suffers a medical emergency or gets hurt or something happens, you know, and you gotta get that, you know, loved one to some medical care urgently. You know, what do you do? You know, it's like, you know, it's
hopefully that alcohol was for medicinal purposes only, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's just for me, it really kind of irks me, you know, and people are like, oh, you know, you're a teetotaler, you're against having fun. No, I'm not. Okay. You know, in the right time, right place. Sure. I don't have a problem with that, but you know what? This is not the right time. This is not the right place. Okay. Because our meteorologist said, you know, with storm surges, water always wins. Okay. You know, so, you know, when they tell you to evacuate, you evacuate. And that's
now, does the area you live in now, is it prone to flooding or not?
No, we live out of the flood zone. Okay. Now, we're about 2 miles from a flood zone. So it's going to be real interesting. That's why I want to kick the drone up.
As far as the roads trying to get back and forth. Yeah.
Right. I want to kick the drone up.
If you're not in a flood thing, your biggest worry will be wind damage then.
Right. Our biggest concern is going to be wind damage. We got an extensive email from the property manager here where we live that talked about, you know, if, you know, say one of their, you know, on the commons areas, if yard debris or whatever kicks into your yard, it's to call the landscaping company and they'll come take care of it. However, if it's your own stuff, you have to take care of it. Okay. That's actually on your property. But what's real nice is, you know, behind our house, we only really technically own 2 feet back there. The rest of it is a common area, which is fantastic for us, you know, and the grass is cut all the time anyway. I mean, you know, we don't have to worry about that. That's one of the nice things about being a part of this community. Now, one of the things, you know, one of the other things that I want to talk about is, you guys probably remember back in 2004, there was a series of like 3 hurricanes within 45 days or something. It was horrible. And the worst of the lot, you know, it's debatable, but Andrew was really bad. And what had happened at that point in time, a lot of houses were still made of wood, you know, the basic construction materials. After Hurricane Andrew, every house that's been built in the state of Florida is made out of cinder block or concrete block.
That's good. And
it was also ordered to have hurricane shutters. All right. Now, what was real interesting was our previous house, what it was kind of like a real real taut tarpaulin kind of a thing for our shutters. I wasn't a real fan of those, and I didn't think it could do much good if some flying debris was coming along, preventing it from coming into our windows. So, but yeah, that's real interesting, because a lot of people say, now see, and the other thing is, if you were to evacuate, okay, if you decide to go do it now, it's the worst time in the world, okay? You're going to make that decision at least 48 hours before a hurricane hits you. Otherwise, those roads are going to be packed.
Now, how far would you have to get away from Tampa to be out of the hurricane zone?
Well, it's going to hit the whole state, because the way it's going up, it's going to slice.
So you'd have to go to Georgia or something.
What it's going to do is it's going to end up and exit, and I think go back out in the Atlantic past Jacksonville. Okay.
I was going to hit Jacksonville.
It's going to hit Jacksonville.
You know what I discovered last time I was in Florida, Bill? Jacksonville is the biggest city in Florida.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's bigger than Tampa. I got a friend of mine from high school. Two friends of mine, one used to live there, but two of them live up in Jacksonville. And there's chances are it could kind of sort of hit Georgia a little bit, but I think it's going to head back out to the Atlantic after that. So, and usually it'll dissipate down because that water's cooler. Because
if you really wanted to get safe, you'd hop a plane to Columbus.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because back in the year before my daughter and son-in-law got married, my daughter had to have emergency ankle surgery. So I went up for that. And as I was coming back, a hurricane was just kind of coming through, and it wasn't a really bad one, but the rain was horrible. And that's another thing. Okay. Like in downtown Tampa, it's very prone to flooding down there. I mean, it's really bad down there. There's some areas, because they're so low lying, it's just really bad flooding. And then another thing, you get hit with the high winds, you get hit with the flooding, and then tornadoes out of nowhere pop up. Okay. It's just one thing after another when this happens. And you really got to be careful, because a lot of people think it's okay to go outside, but it's not. You really got to listen for when they tell you it's okay to go out, because one thing they'll do, if you go out before they tell you it's okay, and the police are out there, they'll arrest you, and they'll cart you to jail, because they don't want you out on the road. Okay. They want you staying inside until it's time to go out.
Well, but we have that up north too. It'll be a big snow, and the governor will close the state down. But those idiots, they'll still want to get out and drive all over the place.
Oh, I know. There were some idiots after Irma was done that were going out, and they were advised, not to go out. Like Irma it's the same thing. It was like it hit late night kind of a thing, and this is kind of like early night that it's going to hit. This one's going to be a lot more intense. So I think we're supposed to get 10 to 12 inches of rain overnight. So that's going to be
fun fact here. Did you see what Ken placed it here, said in the chat? He said Jacksonville is only 17 square miles smaller than Rhode Island. We'll have to confirm that with Mark Fisher.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. It's a big area. It's a big area. It's a big area to drive through too.
When I come through the Florida Drone meetup, the first year I made the mistake of coming right to the middle of the city, but then I discovered a bypass where I can go around the city. I don't have to hit that downtown, because they got all those big ramps. Looks like you're in Los Angeles or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's pretty big up there. So yeah, we're pretty much all ready. What they've told us as far as work is concerned, half day tomorrow, we're closed on Thursday, and then Friday morning at 8:30, either check the website or call a special number for employees to see whether or not our offices are open. And I asked my boss, says, of course you can work from home. That's not a problem. But I asked him, I said, what's the deal if we're out of power here and internet,
one or the other.
Our internet's down as well too. And see, that's the big thing is our power outages. And Valerie and I are seriously contemplating getting a backup generator, but a backup generator with propane that sits outside that automatically kicks on.
Oh, yeah,
not one of the kind, not like the Honda or
one gasoline.
Yeah.
My father's got one that it's hooked up to the gas, the natural gas. It just comes on automatically and powers.
Yeah, that's what we want to get forever.
As long as the natural gas coming, he's good.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at, because I don't want to, it's just like because
Maddie's saying in the chat you could probably guarantee the power is going to go at some point, Bill.
Yeah, it is at some point in time. You know, one of the things that we found out is food in a freezer, like we have a big chest freezer, you leave it closed, it'll stay okay for 48 hours. Refrigerator is only good for 4 hours. Okay. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. I did buy about like 5 bags of ice. So what I'm going to do is we're going to throw that in the big freezer as well to keep things really super cold in there. So because, you know, the food will spoil, and I'm not worried about the refrigerator. We got a lot of food in the freezer. Okay. So, but, you know, I'm also looking, and I also talked to Valerie about, there's those, you know, they're big. They're not as big as those generators, but they're energy banks. Okay. And there's some that are big enough that can power a big appliance, say like a refrigerator, say like a chest of freezer. Okay. And also have the option to recharge by solar as well too. So, you know, those are about $3,000 or $4,000, but by the time you spend that money, you can get a propane system hooked up to run your whole house. So,
or you could refill that freezer with fresh food.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure.
Well, not if Publix is out of everything.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's real true. So,
well, guys, Bill, it sounds like you've done your due diligence here. You know, you've checked all the boxes, and you know, all you can do now is pray and batten down the hatches, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get Valerie's gonna go get her mom, and you know, we have her little rugrat come over here too.
Oh boy! Now, so what time should we start checking in on you guys tomorrow? The late afternoon is when you approach the danger zone.
Yeah, it's about they're saying about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow. So, you know, I'll be posting updates. You know, because I'm not going to run out of internet. You know, I got the phones, so my phones are fully charged as well too. I also charged up. I didn't show my Osmo Actions fully charged as well.
Oh, good.
You know, we're all set to go. I cleared my
Osmo Action 3.
What's that?
Your Osmo Action 3?
I wish. Yeah. My one is working really well. And I got it set to 1080p so I can record more video with it. Good. But it's going to be real interesting to see, because we did have quite a bit of damage when Irma went through back in 2017, and it really didn't hit us directly. So this is going to be, it's going to be real interesting to see. And what's really kind of an anecdotal thing is 2 of our favorite restaurants are down by an area called Apollo Beach, and that's right on the beach. Okay. That was in the evacuation zone. So I'm like, oh my, I told Valerie, I'm like, I hope they don't get
They can be prone to some of that high wind coming right off the ocean, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, they're very expensive homes down there too. Because they're on the water. I mean, it's just,
I hope they had got good flood insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, duty, flood, and hurricane insurance both.
Yeah, and then you also have to have sinkhole insurance too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, boy. It's complicated down here in Florida. Really complicated. So
you got to have all your ducks in a row down there, huh?
Yeah, you really do. As far as insurance is concerned, Marcus, you have any closing thoughts?
It's coming up on fall. I talked about this yesterday on Drone Nation. Time to get out there and fly your drones. The weather's moderating. The trees are turning color. Get out there and fly.
Our good friend Lauren up in Canada, he's already captured some great fall colors up there. He said fall's already hit and he's already out and about. But I don't have any closing thoughts. Well, except that, you know, it was nice to see the Mavic 3 Enterprise drones arrive today. Nice to see them praised correctly. Now we got those out of the way. What's next, Bill? I don't want to get a big conversation. We'll continue this next show. But have you ever seen DJI pump out products like they have in the past, you know, year or whatever, cycle? I mean, I basically starting with the Mini 3. It's like one thing after another. We got Mavic 3 Enterprise. You had the Osmo, you know, last week. You know, the Action 3. It's like, not what more can they do, Bill?
The Mini 3
say that answer for the next episode.
Oh, I will. I will. I will.
And thoughts and prayers to everybody in Florida that they make it through safe and sound.
Thank you, guys.
Over the next couple of days.
We appreciate it. And, you know, and I have to say this, as long as you follow, you know, as long as you've done your homework, you prepared for it. You know, you have shutters up. If you total evacuate, you evacuated, you know, like we're doing, having my mother-in-law, getting her over here with us to make sure she's 100% safe and there's no issues. You're going to be fine. I mean, I really have that, because these homes are built like a fortress. Okay. I mean, you come in and you see them being built. It's like you feel pretty doggone good and pretty doggone safe. I mean, even like the rafters, there's special way that they hook the rafters up to the concrete block. I mean, it's just done. They build homes differently down here, and they're really solid. And I feel really good and really secure. And we thank you for everyone for your thoughts and prayers. We'll get through this, and I'm going to get plenty of video. I'm going to get the Mavic 3 up as soon as we get an all clear. I'm going to get the Osmo action out, and as soon as we can get out and about, want to take a look and see how bad things are. So, but just and just hopefully there's not a lot of idiots here who decide to ride things out or be stupid. We're just hoping that there isn't, because a first responder will have to put their life on the line to try to help them out. So, that's not a good thing. So anyway, with all that being said, guys, I'm going to close a little differently tonight. Pray for Tampa. Take care, everybody.